o'clock alarm fire today is the Voting Rights Act, called the SAVE Act, which is what it's really about is the SAVE Act, right? The SAVE Act is really save them from the brown people, young people, older people, and 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 people overseas and voting people. That's what it really is about. And save yourself from voting Democrat. That's what it really is.
Okay. And so a lot of times, whenever the Republican slash MAGA talks about saving, they always invert their words because we're from the opposite
Now,
end
on
of
the spectrum, what they really means is save white male civilization. That's what it is. White male Christian civilization. That's what it really is.
white male civilization.
White male Christian male dominance.
Well, this world can't all be white.
And here's the thing. White people are only like 4% of the population. Okay.
4% of the population.
Only 4% of the population. The majority of this world is the people of color.
And so, how do how can they pass this bill? Who's passed it so far? The Senate.
The passed so far is the House of Representatives. MAGA Matt Grinder, Mike Johnson, in the House of Representatives passed the bill in the House of Representatives.
Okay. And so, do you think it'll go to the Senate?
It's going to the Senate, but it's likely to fail in the Senate because the Democrats are going to block it, and we're going to see. And there are two people sets of mindset on the Republicans in the Senate. Well, the Republicans will just kill the filibuster for this, or they're going to say we're not going to do it. John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, wants to keep the filibuster when the Democrats get back power. So it's unlikely it's going to pass in the United States Senate.
Okay. And so, what is the problem with the SAVE Act, which they're really not going to save you?
The problem I see with the SAVE Act is what kind of voter ID is acceptable for the Voting Rights Act? What kind of ID is acceptable?
So what are they asking for?
What they're asking for is a birth certificate. Nobody carries a birth certificate, especially original birth certificate, and getting a copy of your birth certificate. It is hard to get a birth certificate. I have an original birth certificate, and they say it's even no good, so I have to get a copy.
They don't want the one from the hospital. They want the birth certificate that has the original seal.
Still, yeah, the original seal.
Okay. And so what else are they trying to change?
They're also trying to say to have the proof of citizenship by not having the voting card. The only way that you're going to be proof of you're an American citizen is having a United States passport, which is very difficult to get and very costly to get.
Now, you got a United States passport.
I'm the 5%.
And here's the envelope that it came in.
It came in right here.
Here's your passport.
Here's my passport.
And we did something extra.
We did Lawrence O'Donnell, which is to get.
Shout out to Lawrence O'Donnell, because Lawrence O'Donnell told us to go get one.
Get the passport card right here.
Mm-hmm. And that was pretty expensive, wasn't it?
Very expensive, about $500 to be exact.
Well, for one, because how many did we get?
We got two.
Yeah, we got about two, and then we had to pay the fees to the people that we had to pay it to.
Yes.
So that extra fee was about $75.
Yeah, the extra $75 just for that. And this is just what they call a poll tax, just to get a passport. And let me tell you the statistics about a passport, people. Only 20, let me tell you this. Hello. Only 20% of Americans have a passport. Do you know how many percent of African Americans that own a passport? Only 5% of African Americans and black people own a passport. So by you doing what the SAVE Act, what that really means is that you just knocked 80% of most disenfranchised, 80% of most Americans that do not have the right identification, and 95% of African Americans from the right to vote.
So Marc Elias has been for years warning about us getting our rights stripped away. And so when they say save, they're definitely going to destroy or strip you of your rights.
Right. Like they're doing, and they're even changing the post office so you can't even vote.
They want mail-in ballots. You know,
That to do it in a certain way, complicate them in a certain way. Yeah. So if you don't, yeah, like if you didn't do it in a certain way, then your vote won't even count.
and okay, we got a voter's ID card, but we don't have a national. And explain that to them.
And here's what the Wignuts will really be saying. The Republican Mike Johnson will really say. They will say, well, in other countries they had like a national ID, but in other countries that have voter ID, they had ID. National ID in those other countries, and when governments can track you. In the United States, we are against a national ID. And who was against national ID in the Free Act? It was the Republican Party.
Okay. And they also trying to steal our vote by changing the maps, by gerrymandering. Tell them about gerrymandering.
And gerrymandering, that's when instead, here's what gerrymandering actually really means. It means the politicians picks the voters where instead of you picking the politicians to represent you.
So now they're trying to tell us who they want, they're gonna vote for. We're not us voting, but they're gonna choose.
They're going to choose for us. Like Christine Nome even said, is one of the things that what evil Christine Nome, the malignant narcissist dog killer Christine Nome said, is that we want the right people to vote. Who are the right people? What they're talking about is white Christian billionaires as the right people to vote. Not no person of color, not no women, and definitely not no students that are intelligent, and not people, and not American expats.
And so we go to political persecutions. You know, on the political persecutions, what do you see there?
What I see there is anybody that is opposed to this evil, that is opposed to the malignant narcissist and the psychopathic Christine Nome, DJT, Cash Patel, is that they are trying to prosecute them and put them in prison and put them in concentration camps with the rest of immigrants.
And you saw in Florida, they went and did what? Was it in Florida? No, it was in Atlanta. They did what?
In Fulton County.
They seized the ballots.
Yeah.
They took the ballots. And why do you think they took those?
It was in retaliation of Fonnie Willis. That's the first thing.
That's the first thing that you give.
Yeah. It was the first thing they did. And it's another thing is that black people that are even voting in Fulton County, you are considered a fraud.
So then they had those illegal executive orders. And what does that order state?
That order states to take away the voting machines. And not only that, they're even going after suing all states to turn in the voting files to knock more voters off.
So we're going to say this again. Even though you have your passport.
I had my passport.
And people don't walk around with
They don't walk around with a passport. 80% of Americans do not have a passport. 20% of Americans own a passport, and only 5% of African Americans. I'm one of the 5% of African Americans that has this.
No. Okay, and also shout out to Lawrence O'Donnell.
And got this. And got this ID right here with the extra fees. Most people don't carry the birth certificate or the passport to vote.
This is an ID, but you cannot use that to vote with, though.
No, you can't.
But you can have it on your person as an ID.
As an ID.
And it took a while, not only for the birth certificate to come back, but it took a while for them what?
It took a while to get that passport through the U.S. Postal Service, which they're trying to take away the ability for the Postal Service to get the passports through the United States Postal Service.
People are not getting their mail on a regular day, let alone getting, if they send out for all this information. And if this happens, you gotta start early. We have to start early. And we'll go back to the military. The military
is always exempt from it because they love the military. Well, they don't love the veteran, they love the military. Okay, but they don't like Americans that were living overseas that got away from this American crap and they're retaliating against them. And they're also retaliating against students as well. So let's say if you're a statewide institution and you're a student in North Carolina, for instance, or if you're at University of Missouri, and that will not be accepted as a form of ID. So when DJ Tree said, I love the uneducated. He really meant that because that really means they don't want smart people that are educated, that are smart to vote.
And so now that he got all these people, that's, he's had all this power and still failing. All these attorneys are winning these cases against him, and the lower courts. And I don't like to say the lower courts because these are the
They're the real Supreme Court at this court.
these are the courts
They're standing up and following the Constitution and the rule of law.
And these are the courts that's giving us the guardrails. But one thing, Mark has been saying over and over. And
Hello, how are you?
It's just not the fact that Mark has to get on here. It's all of us that has to get on here. We encourage, people that's on to use their platform to make a video and talk about the voting rights and what's coming up in June 20 November.
It's in November.
And this is just not for November. This is for
also 2027 and 2028.
Yeah, but for years to come.
And for 50 years to come, for the next 50 to 100 years to come.
Basically, what we're saying is that it's not going to be settled today because we're going to have to keep pressing on. But we don't feel that, we do have Mark that has been exceptional in delivering to his platform, giving out a lot of knowledge. But, we all need to jump in and say, hey, Mark, we're here for you. We'll make videos. We'll do what, as you say, we'll do whatever it takes. DWIT. That's what who used to say that? Big Eddie on.
Big Eddie on MSNBC, but before it's MS Now.
Yeah, he used to always say, do
whatever it takes.
So this is when I do whatever it takes, as First Lady Michelle Obama would say, let's do something. So we're doing our something today. We're cutting this video because we want everybody to know that the SAVE Act will not save
It's not going to save you. What it really is, the SAVE Act is really the Protect Christian Nationalists Act. Protect White Males Act. Save the white males from browning the skin of America. That's what it really is. It's really called Save the Republic, the GOP to Make Pedophiles Great Again Act. That's what it really is. The grand old pedophile party.
And we want to send a special shout out to Bad Bunny who brought it to the head in the Super Bowl, saying that it is not chaos that will rule. It is what?
It was not hate it's love that conquers over hate. But the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference.
All right. So once again, we want you all to go over there to Marc Elias.
You can go to Marc Elias and listen to Marc Elias on Democracy Docket.
Yeah. Go to his go over there to his video, watch it all the way through, and he will give you all the information. And we will get that in the description because it seems like every time we try to roll over that description on the back on the live, it just don't seem to go. So we'll put that information out there, and we really thank you for coming. And if you
love the truth, subscribe to the channel. If you love the truth, subscribe to the truth. Okay? If you love the truth, subscribe. If you care about the truth.
And so on that, you're going to what?
On that note, I am out of here. And also other things too. Before I'm out of here, get your passport to protect your vote.
Not so much as to protect your vote. It's a shame that we got to carry all this documentation around, because they always talk about immigrants, and I don't like that word because everybody in the White House, even though DJT was hollering about number 44.
Her 44's birth certificate.
Elon Musk is not what? So you go get somebody that's not from here, but you holler about
South Africa, they kicked it. South Africa was the one that kicked them out.
But we're going to end this because we'll get off on another subject because I know how we are because we're from the opposite end of the spectrum. And sometimes our concentration kind of shoot to the moon because we got a lot to say. But we'll see you around. And thank you for coming. And once again, Vondell, you got that last word?
My last word is that to go watch Marc Elias's tape at democracydocket.com. We cannot be complacent because we're not going to have fair elections in 2026. We're just not.
Okay. So on that note, we're what?
We're out of here.
Thank you. So how did that go?